how did you find out about the British Powerboat Company in the first place as an apprentice? How did you hear about the apprenticeship?
Well, in the beginning, I was born in Southampton, and the war started, and the bombing got very close to us there, and a relation in
Whereabouts in Southampton?
Chapel.
Chapel, I know, yeah, well, down there used to be Chapel Wharf, didn't there, down by Midland Ridge?
And St Mary's Church.
Yeah.
That's where I was christened.
Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah, well, this relation of a mother's invited us over out of all the hot spot.
Yes.
Because we were not far from the gasworks.
And the Supermarine, of course.
And Supermarine, we got both of it while I was there.
Yeah.
And we lived with this relation for a while. Then my parents got a place in Oak Road, up the corner. And finally I got married, moved back to Shirley with my first wife. And then...
How did you hear about the job?
Well, then we came back here.
Yeah.
And before that, my mother wrote to the British Powerboat Company on my behalf,
right,
and said, have you got a vacancy?
Mm-hmm.
And I went down for an interview.
Right, how did you get there?
Bicycle.
Bicycle, you biked over from...
from here. We were actually...
In Dibden?
Yeah, in Dibden Purley.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you biked down there, and who did you meet in the...
well, the first one was this Mr. Cownley.
Oh, right, yes.
He was the man that took on employees,
mm-hmm.
And his idea was that when a youngster started, you had to go into an office and be a runner.
Mm-hmm.
He put me in...
How old were you?
I must have been about 14.
14?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Because I was 13 when the war started.
And you started as a runner?
That's it. And you went to every section of the British Powerboat Company, printed in orders from the works manager whose office I was in.
Mm-hmm.
I served two people. One was Jimmy Round, the manager, and this Cownley, who did the employment.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his job after a few months, after I'd done all the rounds, and went in all the departments, seen all the work.
How many departments were there, Stan?
Oh, do you want me to start telling you now?
Yes, please. Do go ahead. Name the departments.
Well, there's electrical.
Mm-hmm.
There was the woodworking.
Mm-hmm. Did they all have their separate workshops?
To a certain extent, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There was the sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
There was the wages department, the security department. There was the drawing office. There was the machine department where all the lathes were.
Mm-hmm.
And over the road, in what is now got a load of different businesses on, was the where they converted the aircraft engines that were coming in, marinising them, putting gearboxes in.
Is that right? So what they were taking was was it the Napier engine?
There were Napiers,
Yeah.
Rolls Royce,
Yeah.
and Packards.
And then they were turning them into marine engines.
Yeah, by
really.
putting a gearbox.
They were converting them, and the gearbox was the main thing.
I would imagine so.
What craft were they making there? Some people, such as myself, who are not over familiar with the site, think they were just building motor torpedo boats there, but they weren't, were they? They were building a variety, were they?
There was the torpedo boats. They were 71 foot 6, regardless of what they say.
Yes, of course.
71 foot 6. There was the 68 foot RAF rescue launch.
That's right. That was very famous, wasn't it? It was used to go out into the Solent and pick up.
That's it. They're ready for when they came back.
Yes.
In case they ditched.
I see. Yeah.
And they had 41 foot 6 airplane tender that went out to the seaplanes.
Yeah.
They were good. They had 2 diesel engines in. They also did a 12-foot radio-controlled target tower.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Yeah. You needed it in the war, didn't you? You needed to practice.
Of course, the boats those little boats used to come in a bit riddled sometimes.
Yeah, of course they did. Yeah.
But they were made unsinkable.
Mm-hmm.
These departments. There was a paint shop, electroplating shop.
Of
Because
course.
all the screws and nuts and bolts are all plated so that salt air wouldn't corrode
Oh,
them.
I see.
Yeah.
The boatyard had the reputation of being the most progressive, most advanced in the world. Did you get that impression when you were there?
Well, it was certainly very advanced in they had piecework, what we call piecework, you know that?
Yes.
Well, besides the men's, we don't get it, Prince's, besides the men's normal rate, they got a bonus rate.
Mhm.
And sometimes they could earn double time if they completed a job quickly. And half
Yeah.
the time they get, double time on their bonus rate,
Mhm.
which brought the wages up. But you know, when it closed down, the tradesman's wage had just reached £5 a week.